We're entering a stretch of extreme heat in our area with serious potential health impacts. But for many essential workers, there are no days off, even for a potentially record-breaking heat wave.
ABC 10's Luke Clary is live in Sacramento. And Luke, tonight you spoke to a group training in the afternoon heat?
Yes, I did, Chris. And I'm standing here on Folsom Boulevard in East Sacramento, where we have a very comfortable 74, 75 degrees right now. But spare a thought for all the essential workers who are out there braving the elements. A stretch of triple-digit temperatures for much of the afternoon, including the men and women of the Sacramento Police Department and those who wish to join the force.
Ready, move!
Determination.
Ready, move!
And sweat.
All right, we're gonna have some fun tonight.
Warming up with the next generation of Sacramento police in the hot Central Valley sun. Corporal Alexis Grove remembers her first time scaling that wall.
I do. It was interesting because I didn't have the technique and they didn't have programs like this.
Tonight's boot camp event is specifically geared for the Female Fitness Challenge. What's it take?
Takes a lot. Let's start there.
To encourage more women like Megan Lineberger to apply.
I've been through the process once. Unfortunately, I didn't make it. So now I'm reapplying.
Determination.
And so here I am.
Sacramento police want 30% of officers to be female by the year 2030. Research has shown they get fewer complaints, use force less often, and have more success getting victims of crimes to speak out.
And in some cases, when you show up on scene, people just automatically are drawn to you due to that comfortability of seeing a female. So having females in law enforcement is a huge asset. I would say that females, we kind of have a better way of communicating, I feel like, than males. We can kind of de-escalate a situation.
But working through these extreme temperatures?
It's not maybe fun, but it's a mindset that you have to work through, and it's really applicable to what our job entails.
Like the post office, nor rain or sleet or triple-digit heat.
Honestly, after it's great. You got a nice workout.
And so it goes for these Sac PD hopefuls. Determination doesn't take the day off.
So some very determined applicants there. I should mention that the trainers had cold water, a shady place to rest, all the things that you would want to have when it comes to working out or just being out, working in conditions like these, although they just wanted, as you heard there from the trainer, it does actually represent on-the-job conditions for police officers, and it does provide an opportunity to gain some of that mental toughness being out there in those hot temperatures.
Yeah,
Back
Luke,
to you.
it certainly takes a lot of grit to make it through all that training. I'm so glad to hear that they are also staying safe in the heat.
Keep in mind, I'm told currently just 17% of Sacramento police officers are women. So the department has some ground to cover, and they seem like they are getting started as we speak. Luke, thank you, sir.
And Monica, you're going to be talking about how CAL FIRE is working to deal with all that intense heat too.
Yeah, especially when you look across the map here, you can see everything lit up in red with this excessive heat warning all throughout the state. It's going to be some dangerous fire conditions heading to this stretch of 100s, with the peak heat in some places reaching highs around 115. A very little overnight relief. Now, this is going to also extend towards the coast with our excessive heat watch in place on Saturday all the way through Tuesday, with inland temperatures in the 90s and in some places close to 100, where many people don't have access to an air conditioner. It's a classic setup. High pressure ridge dominating the weather forecast, with sinking warming air storm track to the north of us, so no cool air is able to move through into the valley. You can see how extreme conditions continue to build into the end of the work week and the holiday weekend, with Sunday and Monday being the extreme heat days, 110 to 115 for those afternoon highs, and overnight lows only in the 70s and 80s. So many of us wanting to use our air conditioners and some of our appliances just to try to stay cool. We're going to be tracking flex alerts, air quality issues, that fire danger, as well as the sporting events as we continue during this heat wave. Temperatures, meantime, for tonight, close to 70 to 75 degrees in most of the valley. Near 80, though, right now in the foothills. That just represents some of the differing conditions overnight, and 50s for the Sierra. Light winds still a part of the forecast for tonight. Not so much as we move deeper into this heat wave. You can see conditions tonight bottoming out in the 60s. We are on our way to the 100s for tomorrow. And again, this is just the beginning of the stretch, guys.
And so listen to this. The state has actually issued a flex alert until at least Thursday, Laura.
Yeah, Chris, flex alerts call on you to conserve power during hot weather days when the power grid may be strained. This will help lower the strain on the power grid, which is often expected to be most stressed during the late afternoon and early evening as demand increases and solar energy wanes.
So take a look. Here's how you can prepare for a flex alert. Set your thermostat to 72 to pre-cool your home before 4 p.m. Get all the chores that require major appliances done, like using the washer, dryer, dishwasher, and oven. Also close the blinds and drapes. Then between 4 and 9 p.m., when the grid is under the most stress, turn up your thermostat to 78 degrees or higher if possible. Avoid using any major appliances and turn off unnecessary lights.
Tracking a developing story tonight. An investigation is underway after firefighters found a body floating in the American River this afternoon. This was in the area of Vine and North 10th Street. Crews aren't sure how long the body was in the water before it was found. They haven't identified the victim or their cause of death.
Meanwhile, one person is dead and the driver is hurt after a vehicle slammed into a home in Antelope this morning. Just look at that. The person inside the home sadly did not survive. The driver has minor injuries, we're told. CHP says a white Expedition lost control while in reverse and crashed into the home. Police in Galt have made an arrest in a month-long hit-and-run investigation. It seriously injured a 16-year-old girl.
Tonight, ABC 10's Giacomo Luca talked with the bedridden teenager's mother.
There's still joy to be found.
This is 16-year-old Angel Renteria, a once vibrant, healthy, tick-tocking teenager who, like many, enjoyed spending time with friends. Her family tells me she loved animals and one day dreamed of a career as a veterinarian. Then came that tragic day last March.
She was left on the side of the road, and she was seconds from dying. Seconds.
Galt police say she was struck by a hit-and-run driver while walking her dog just doors from her home. The injuries to her body and brain sent the girl to the hospital for 5 months. Now home, but unable to walk, speak, or even feed herself.
Having to rely on every basic need.
The aftermath has changed the teen and her family's life forever. Her mother, Kelly Carr, had to quit her job as a nurse to care for her daughter, all while Galt police continued their extensive investigation into who was responsible.
White truck ran into my mechanic car.
6 months after the crash, the same woman accused of DUI while crashing into a Galt police K9 cruiser during Angel's hit-and-run investigation, and through DNA evidence, Galt police have linked and accused 29-year-old Devin Calderon of DUI hit-and-run, resulting in Angel's injuries. This frustrated and angry mother says the woman had months to turn herself in, and yet she did not. Ahead of the suspect's arraignment Tuesday, Carr is pleading now for authorities to require the woman to remain behind bars.
She should be confined to a cell like my daughter is confined to a bed.
And your heart really goes out to them. The mother is offering thanks to the Galt Police Department and all who helped with this extensive investigation to bring accountability in her daughter's case. A 2018 study by the California Office of Traffic Safety finds 1,400 pedestrians were hurt in the state, and no state has more pedestrian deaths than California.